Hey folks, today we'll be practicing yoga postures specifically to alleviate low back pain. So your low back pain can be caused from different things. So don't try and guess. Make sure that you've got a diagnosis from a physician or a specialist, and maybe even sought a physiotherapist to help you along. So that's first and foremost. But if you want to have some other yoga postures that can help you maintain the progression through that and any alleviation and therapeutic effects that you've had from your professional treatment, then this practice may be for you. So be focusing specifically on postures depending on what your symptoms are. So if you find relief when you're sitting, then I will give you postures that may help with that. If you find relief from your back pain from standing, then I will give you postures, yoga postures to assist with that. And if none of those seem to work and it's kind of this chronic situation, then there's a third sequence for that as well. So, of course, we're not here to diagnose. You always seek medical opinion before you proceed with anything. And I will meet you on the mat. You shouldn't need any blocks or straps. You might want a pillow from home, or if you have a yoga block, that's fine too. I'll meet you over on the mat. So the first sequence we'll be doing today, sequence of yoga postures, is for those individuals whose back pain is eased when you're standing or if you're lying down. So if you find that when you're sitting bothers you, and you find like you stand up and you feel a lot of relief, or when you lay down flat on your back, this first set of yoga postures may be beneficial for you. So I'll invite you first to come onto your hands and knees. And the first posture that we'll practice is called bird dog. So this is not a flow class, it's not hatha, it's really more of a stretch and exercise using yoga poses. So for bird dog, you spread your fingers really wide, and I do this one often in class. Take the knees and place the kneecaps directly underneath the hips. Extend one leg back. So this time I'll choose my right leg, and we'll be here actively by toning up the low belly, keeping the weight even between the front right hand and the back left knee, lifting the left arm up to shoulder height. So notice if your belly is drooping down. If it is, hug it up into the back body, press the earth away with the right hand, and that right ankle is stable. Bring the toes to point down to the ground, and you're gazing down past your nose. I like to tuck my back toes under my left toes that are on the ground. And if lifting both simultaneously is too much, then do one at a time. And you might find that you stay here for a few breaths, and then you release. And then you'll do the same thing on the other side. And of course, you're going to come back to this particular video again and again, or memorize these exercises if you find them helpful. So being here very actively, breathing through this. Find what happens if you put your palm down or let your palm face in, and release that down. So that's the first exercise. And in yoga, we call that bird dog pose. My next one that I've got is bridge. So you come onto your back. Hopefully you don't have a microphone that you're laying on. Bringing the ankles right underneath the knees, arms alongside the body, palms facing down. So the arms aren't way out here, they're over here by your side body, almost like they're part of your ribs. The chin isn't jutting up, it's the center of the head is on the ground. Keeping some activity through your inner thighs. And you'll simply elevate your hips off the floor into the shape of a bridge. You might hold for a few seconds, and then slowly and controlled lower down. And do that maybe 8-10 times. Make sure you got some firmness in your glutes. Inhaling as you lift. And exhaling as you lower. We'll do that one more time together, and then of course you can come back to it anytime. So again, this first grouping of exercises are for people that find relief from their back pain when they lay down or stand. Okay. So the next one we will do in this one, what do I have on my list here? Oh, your hip flexor stretch. which we call a lunge, or we have another fancy Sanskrit name for it, but we'll leave that out. So let your left knee slide way back, right knee over right ankle. Let your hips come forward. Sole of the right foot finds the earth, right big toe on the ground. And you've got a little bit of a back bend here. You can tuck your back to under. We're not going to worry about the arms today. Maybe stay here for a few breaths. And come out. And you can come right back in, or maybe switch sides and alternate, and make sure you do this several times. So again, your physiotherapist has likely given you instructions. Follow those or do a little bit of research. I will also leave some information in the link below. Each video has a descriptive, and there's usually extra information in it. So feel free to check that out, and I'll send some additional links in there for those of you that want to look it up. So we'll just finish up on this side, and of course you will repeat these several times. And release that out. Next up, I have, Cobra Pose on your forearms. Hi, Chloe. Hi, Chloe. You like to steal the show. People like to see. This is Chloe. So you're going to come down onto your forearms, place your elbows underneath your shoulders, and just pressing into those forearms a little bit. If having the arms underneath the shoulders is too much, then lower it down a little bit. So we're adding in a little bit of a back bend here. And if you're collapsing your chest, broaden across the chest. Hi, you're sitting on me. Hi, Chloe. Maybe you have animals at home. I find getting down on the floor and playing with them is its own yoga in itself. Right, Chloe? Yeah. It's a good girl. I know. She's here for the love. Of course, yoga is love, isn't it? Yes, it's a good girl. So you'll do that a few times, come up and down, repeat that a few times. And that's the end of our first one. So again, that's for those people that find relief from their back pain if they lay down or when they're standing. And this next group of exercises and yoga poses are for people who find relief when they're sitting. So if you're sitting, when you sit down, you go, oh, my back feels so good, you might want to try these ones. Just a couple here. The knee to chest pose. You can hold one in at a time. Your other leg can be bent here. So it looks kind of like sitting in a chair, right? But we're just drawing one knee in. I like to stay for a few breaths. Hi, Coco. Let's do the other side. Inhale, exhale, use some abdominal contraction. Hug that opposite knee in. So again, these are pretty simple. The next one we'll do, and the last one in this series, in this particular sequence, the second group, is a piriformis stretch, which I call the figure 4 position. So planting the right foot on the left thigh. It might look like this, might kind of look like this. You can draw one leg up, or you can keep it down. Maybe just even putting that left foot on a block. Don't just hang it in midair. That really tugs on the low back here. So you want to focus here on what's going on in the piriformis. And you'll repeat these exercises again with the frequency that your healthcare provider has recommended. But sometimes they send you home with a piece of paper, and it's nice to see someone else demonstrating. So I'm just taking that over to the other side. So this piriformis stretch, or this figure 4 position. These are postures, again, that we just kind of naturally weave into yoga classes. So the question is, what came first? I would say that yoga came first. And then those postures were adopted by healthcare professionals as being beneficial for and therapeutic for our bodies. So that's the last one in this particular sequence. So just those two for people that find relief when they're sitting. The last grouping is for people that don't find any particular relief from standing or sitting, and they just have kind of this chronic achiness. So we'll start on our hands and our knees again, and we'll come right into cow and cat pose. So fingers spreading wide, front of the shoulders at the back of the wrist or maybe slightly forward. As you breathe in, let your sitting bones rise, open up your collarbones, maybe open up your throat. And as you breathe out, hugging the navel to the spine, maybe press the hands and the knees into the earth. So this is frightened cat, and this is saggy cow. And of course, you'll repeat through that, engaging your abdominal muscles as you do so. And of course, none of these poses would be done if you're in acute pain. It's only when you have permission and the pain is not acute. You can think of it as maintenance plan. So we'll just do one more round. What do I have next? Yes, the clam. So coming back to table, if you lay on your side, I'm going to lay on my right side first. You might want to put a pillow under your head, or you can use your arm here if that's available. You're going to bend your knees, bring your heels about in line with your torso. Knees are forward. You're going to keep the feet glued together. This can be done with or without shoes on. Keeping the feet glued together, you're going to lift up that left leg. You're going to hold here for about 6 seconds. And slowly lower down, and you'll repeat that. So I'll repeat this one today 2 more times. You might want to do it more. So if you've got really weak external hip rotators, this one you're going to feel. And we'll do one more. And again, holding for about 6 seconds and then releasing. We'll flip over to the other side. Big news today, we're supposed to be getting out of lockdown on Tuesday, I think. So again, keeping those ankles glued together. Hi, Chloe. Supporting your head so it's not dangling in midair. Begin to lift your right knee up. Hold here for about 6 seconds, feeling those muscles on the outer right hip doing their work. And slowly lower back down. So you're not tilting back either. You're not rolling back into the low back. You're simply maneuvering that right hip socket. So you're rotating that right femur in your pelvis. The rest of my body is staying relatively stable. Lower down. I think we did three on the other side, so we'll do 3 on this side. Inhale, letting that right knee rise up. Breathing as you're here. And releasing that back down. Coming on to, what do I have next here? Oh, the hamstrings. So actually, before we do the hamstrings, we will do a little bit of pelvic rocking. Move my microphone again. Coming down onto your backs. Your one back, but everybody out there, there's multiple backs. Hi, Chloe. Planting your feet underneath your knees. And this is simply, you're going to firmly press the navel towards the back body, and you'll notice how your tailbone kind of tilts. So you're going to do that. You're going to hold that down, but you're going to hold that pose, but you're not holding the breath. So you're pressing. It's like someone is pressing down the belly, and it's causing your sitting bones to rise up. And then release that. And you'll do that a few times. So exhale, navel to spine, like someone is pressing and firming up. Chloe might go and get a toy and play with us. Hey, Chloe, she's been napping all morning. I get lots of little messages about people that prefer my videos with the dogs in them, so I've decided I'm, for the most part, not going to edit them out, although sometimes what they're doing is not conducive to a calm state of yoga. Although if the practice of yoga is taking everything as it comes, then I guess I shouldn't edit them out and release it down. We're going to do that one more time because it feels quite good. So again, firming up, like someone is pressing in, and you would actually be kind of, if somebody was going to hit you, you'd firm up and you'd do a little bit of bracing. So that's the word I'm looking for. You're going to brace. And release. One more. So if you can come bring yourself to a door frame so you can have one leg on one side of the door. I can't really do it here because it's too cold outside, so I don't want to open the door. And you'd bring this leg to rest on a door frame. So if you have a strap, you might want to do this. But the idea is this leg is on the door, and this is I don't know if I'm explaining this quite well. Imagine this is the door opening, this leg is resting on the outer edge of the frame, and this leg is resting on the ground. So this is the door frame, pretend my hand is at, and we want to avoid rolling through the back or lifting up. So this is, and we don't want to bend that leg. So maybe you can just scoot your bum a little bit further away from the wall. Maybe this is kind of the height that the hamstring is able to receive. And then as your body becomes more open and agreeable, you will bring your glutes closer to the wall. And we're doing one at a time. So again, pretend that my leg is resting on a wall. And then bending that, planting it down, and bend the other knee. I'm going to slide my right leg down on the floor, and then imagine that my left leg is now on that door frame. Or if you have a strap, again, you could use a strap. But the tendency with a strap is people pull and they arch, but this way you can have just a solitary place to rest that heel on and be here a little bit more passively. Keeping the upper body relaxed on the ground and keeping both legs straight. Just the way I'm built, this leg doesn't go completely straight. This is it. This is just my muscular structure here. So you don't want to be hanging in midair. Pretend again that we're resting on a wall. You want this leg to be supported. And then you'll bend that knee and you'll lower it back down. I think that's it for this sequence. I hope that you find that helpful. Again, it's a combination of using yoga poses to provide therapeutic effects for our low back pain. So that's it for our yoga poses for low back pain and discomfort. Again, you don't practice those when you're in acute pain. Think of this as more of a maintenance or a maintenance program, or even a program to be preventative. If you haven't subscribed and you found this helpful, please hit subscribe and have a check out my link below in the description for any perhaps additional information that might be handy for you. Bye for now.